Hello and welcome to Becoming Abundant podcast. I am your host, Anna Maria Jinga, and this is our side of the internet where we get to speak about true abundance, personal authority, emotional optimization, and the pure power of alignment, all while living in the presence and guidance of God Himself. I am a holistic coach and mentor focusing on healing the emotions keeping you stuck so that the mind and body can align and live a limitless life. We all have a mission and a purpose, and I am here to help you unchain from what's been holding you back to actually live in your full potential. Think of it as transformative triggering in the best possible way. The time has come to live a life you love. Let's dive in. Hello, my darlings, and welcome to another fabulous week of Becoming Abundant podcast. I am your host, Anna, and it's always such a pleasure to tune in with you today, every day, in this fabulous community that we're building here together. If this is your very first time, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you. Say a little hello in the comments below. Make sure you tune in until the end because today's topic is very powerful and it has little to do with spirituality, but everything to do with how you get to shift into a new version of yourself. And I'll tell you the whole story because I've done it for myself. If this is the 10,000th episode that you're tuning in, make sure you share it with a friend that needs this reminder today. Because in our fabulous episode today, we get to talk about 10, yes, 10 whole things that improved the way that I show up in my business. And whenever I show up in a certain area of my life a certain way, other areas of my life got improved as well. But before we dive into this, I'd love to take a moment and say, Kasia, I actually took notes this time, and it's so funny that I started taking notes yesterday for a article that I want to post on Substack, on my Substack channel. And I found myself thinking after I wrote everything down, this has to be a podcast as well, not just an article, even though I will make it into an article because I'll dive into more more juice, more flavor to everything that I have to share here. But also, I had to sit down and talk with you guys today about all of this because yes, there are 10 things that have improved the way I show up in my business. But also, there are many things that have happened because of these 10 things that have shaped different areas of my life. So, before we dive into it, I have one question for you. What have you been holding on to that might be hindering you from showing up as who you are meant to be? So, think with me for a second. What would that be? Maybe write in your journal. And when you're ready, let's dive in. The first thing that came to mind in these 10 things is I do not sell, I inform. And if you're my client, you know that I don't sell to you. It's selling sounds crazy to me because sales, in my beliefs, my previous beliefs in an older lifestyle, were sleazy, uncomfortable, and always meant for the other person, the buyer, to feel less than, to feel a lack of something, to be cheated, to be drawing the smaller straw, whatever that metaphor looks like. But now, sales for me is simply informing. If you're my client, you know I don't sell to you, I inform you. You see the results that are happening in your life when you work with me. So the fact that you're wanting to continue working with me, or maybe somewhere in the lines we haven't worked yet and you find my content informative and inspiring and transformative, I will tell you, hey, these are some ways that we can work together, but that's about it. I don't go into details. I don't go into pain points or pleasure points or, oh, if you're doing this, you're going to miss out on that, or nothing to those lines. I give you the information that you need, such as pricing, timelines, things that we're focusing on. Everything else is proven. It's proven in testimonials. It's proven in the way I take care of you. It's proven in the fact that there's a lot of transparency between myself and my clients. And because of that, I don't sell. I serve. I inform. I show up. And yes, I over deliver, but at the same time, I create the space for us to do things as a team, because that's what it means to be in my business, in my space of mentoring and coaching. I don't sell, I inform you. Number two, I make space for God to move. I don't micromanage God. And funny enough, the micromanaging God came in one of my coaching sessions this week with a private client, that we were talking about, hey, I know that God is taking the wheel and doing his things. And sometimes I feel like I should be doing things and not put so much pressure on God and let him take care of so many things, because I should be capable of doing that. I should be, I am. And at the same time, God is there to make things happen and move. And when he's there to make things happen and move, life changes. So, whenever we're trying to control anything, and especially in my business and my life, whenever I try to micromanage God to show up a certain way, it never happened. Because the more controlling we are of God, the more controlling we are of situations outside of our control, we delve into manipulation. And that is not of God. That is lack, not abundance. That is fear, not faith. That is doubt, not trust. Because God moves when you let him, when you make space for him to move and not control the way he needs to move. He already knows how you need him. He already knows what you actually need, not just what you want, but what you need and who you need to become in order for your purpose in life to show up. So when we micromanage God, we're actually hindering him and not letting him move in our lives. So we use our free will, say it with me, we use our free will to limit God. And God is limitless, but he will never control us to get in our lives in a certain area where we are not allowing him. He loves us that much. So I stopped micromanaging God, and it's a daily practice of mine to stop micromanaging God and stop trying to control everything in order to see him move, in order to feel the blessings, to be present in his glory in my business, in my life, in every aspect of my lifestyle and livelihood. So that is two. Free. I focus on the free C's. And this is actually another thing that came up for me this week in another coaching call with another fabulous client of mine. Focusing on the free C's is this. I focus on certainty, clarity, and connection. When I show up in my business, I show up with certainty because I know that I am serving those who need the freedom that comes from God, the freedom that comes from me aligning with my truth that comes from Him. When I lead into certainty, I come with clarity, because the clearer my intention for how I show up in the day, in the week, in my business, the clearer my path is in front of me. When I allow for God to speak to me, I get clarity. And then connection. It's not just the connection I have with God every morning, sitting and talking and praying and worshiping Him, but the connection I have with my clients, with my friends, with friendships that are being built online, with my online community and my presence. Those are relationships that I get to harness and nurture, because connection is key a key factor in my business. The more we get to connect, the more we get to move together, the more I get to connect with you, the more you feel my passion, my life force inspiring you. So, three C's that I focus on: certainty, clarity, and connection. Think of yourself for a moment before I move forward. When you think of what's missing in your life, what would actually change when you focus on these three C's of clarity, certainty, and connection? What if you give your attention more to these three C's of clarity, certainty, and connection and see where they take you? When you have more clarity, you feel more in control of yourself. When you have certainty, you feel grounded in your truth. When you have connection, you feel like you belong. And that is powerful. So, see what comes up for you. Now, let's move on to number four. Number four is my desire to fit in a lane. I replaced it by making my own lane. And I created my own lane. And I decided that I do not need to fit in a lane of personal development or preaching or God, faith, nurturing space or healing or wellness. I created my own lane of faith led mentorship. And this faith led mentorship is rooted in all of the magical, powerful information that's out there in the personal development, but tied back always to God. Because without Him, we are lacking. Without Him, there is a glitch in the system that doesn't align properly. We feel maybe like we belong, but to a certain degree, because we don't feel fully connected. When we're plugged into this God zone, when we're plugged into belonging to God, it all makes sense. So I made my own lane. I thought at first, when I first started my business a few years ago, that I shouldn't talk about God that much because personal development is not God. Well, I've been reading and researching more and more the Bible, and I realized more and more that God was the first personal developer. Just saying. So, see where that thought leads you, that God was the OG creator of personal development when He allowed us free will and a whole book of His word and guidance to lead us from wherever we are to where we actually want to be. Number five is I actually listened more to my clients' needs rather than dabbling in whatever markets are trending or whatever is the new hype or what others are saying to focus on or any kind of researches I would do in various markets and so on. I stopped doing that and I just listened to my clients. I listened to their needs. I listened to the patterns that are common in various calls that I have. I listen and understand what's going on in their lives so that not only I get to serve them better, but I notice the trend that's going on for my clients because we're not unique in our problems. Our problems, our flaws, our lacks are always the same. We don't feel good enough. We don't feel worthy. We don't feel challenged enough. We don't know how to handle big money. We don't know what lack is actually affecting in our lives. We don't know how to handle abundance because we do not feel worthy, capable, or enough to do that. That's it. I summed personal development up in 2 minutes, a minute, maybe 30 seconds. That is the massive pattern. And then we go into the ramification of it comes from parents, it comes from work, it comes from this, it comes from that, it comes from whatever environment you were most vulnerable in that affected your subconscious. That's it. And from there, we dive into the layers of healing. The more you listen to the people around you, especially if you're a coach, if you're a doctor, if you're working with people one on one, the more you listen to them, the more you will learn what they actually need. And the more you get to give them what they actually need versus you creating a story of what they might need because of the trend of the market or whatever. And yes, that comes from for business coaches as well. Your clients do not need you to strategize for them. They need to feel better about themselves because then they can make everything happen. Speak more life into your clients. We need to do more of that because the strategy part is wonderful, it's great, but no matter your to do list, your steps, your funnels, your climbing ladders, if you feel unworthy to make it happen, you will not put anything in motion. It will not serve you, it will not serve you back. Number 6. I started leading with my approach to life, not trying to fit into a mold of someone else's approach. I started being rooted into how I like to live life. I love to live life from a freedom perspective. I don't love hustle culture. You will hear so many coaches saying, you need to hustle in the first 6 to 12 months and put work in this. That will lead you to burnout. I will be here and come at me if you want. I will be here reminding you that if you do not prioritize your well being, hustle culture will eat you alive and nothing that you're putting together will be sustainable, thriving for long, or not have massive gaps of lack in them. I won't go too deep into it now, just because I don't feel like it. But when I started leading with my approach to life in my coaching, in my business, in my mentoring, in the way I connect with people, friends, clients, audiences, it resonated more with those who knew that they don't want to sacrifice their children's well being because they had to work a certain type of job with hours, with sacrifices, all of that. They also felt more connected that someone else is speaking the truth they felt inside of them for so long. When I started leading from my own approach to life, more and more people started resonating with what I had to bring. So it's a big factor to allow for you to actually surrender to what feels right for you. Talk to God, see what comes up for you, and go from there. Because the more you lead from a place of true alignment, whoever you want to lead, it can be your family. If you're aligned with yourself and leading your family from your aligned, self cared, properly managed self, emotionally mature self, you will have a happier, healthier family and you will thrive 10,000 times more. Number 7, I stopped taking things personally, and this is a big one. I absolutely was the queen of people pleasing for the longest time in my childhood, teenage years, early adult years, up until probably 3, 4 years ago. I was the queen of people pleasing, even though I was masking it like, no, I just want to help you. But while you're people pleasing, you're also manipulating the other person because you sit in the victimhood mentality. So when I stopped taking things personally, I realized how much power and control I actually have over myself. When I stopped taking things personally, I felt more connected with what I actually need and realized that the other person, I got to meet them more empathically, more connectedly, more compassionately, because I saw them how they can do things from a filter, from a trigger, from whatever they're going through, and it might not have anything to do with me and everything to do with them. And from that, I got to experience grace. I got to see people in a different light. That doesn't mean I don't get mad. That doesn't mean that I don't think some people need to work on their emotional maturity because they're acting like children. That's a story for a whole nother episode. But that meant that I got to give them grace and feel myself grace in the process. I stopped taking things personally when clients didn't sign up with me after we finished the contract, because I realized that if they need me more, they will continue working with me. If they don't need me more, it means we got to the point where they're self sufficient. And that for me is 10,000 times better than re enrolling, because it means I, in my little ego for a moment, it means I help someone completely heal themselves where they feel back into their power. If you do not need me, even for a short or long time, it means you are well. And I want to believe that. If you don't continue with me, it means that you are well. So I love believing that. And I stopped taking things personally, because the less I take things personally, the more I feel in tune and aligned with what is the ultimate truth. Whatever people are feeling, they're feeling from a place of hurt. They're feeling from a place of overstimulation. They're feeling from a place of maybe not feeling good enough, they're not feeling worthy enough, some form of lack, fear, whatever that looks like. It's not them, it's their programming. And when I realized that, it gave me more peace. Let's go into number 8. Number 8 is I cleared boundaries around my priorities. I put boundaries between work and time with my family. I put boundaries around alone time versus giving myself up for others to use, to be present, to be always on call. I used to be obsessed with my phone. I used to be so obsessed with my phone that maybe someone would text me and I would feel important. Maybe I would find something and it would create space in my brain to be more creative. Maybe I was completely obsessed with my phone to the point where my screen time was 10 plus hours on a daily. That was insane. That, not counting laptop time, TV time, all of those things, tablet time. Don't you worry, screen time is fabulous. I made a pact with myself that priorities are self care, me, and it's not from a place of ego, it's from a place of if my cup is full, I can take care of everything. Family comes first above everything else, including my work and my business. My clients matter more than people that I have not met yet. And people get to feel more aligned and safe with me than anyone else. So, with those in mind, I actually created these priorities in my brain and rewired my brain to understand that what I was learning before was not proper for me, was not aligned for my Virgo brain manifester and human design self, ENFJ in Myers Briggs type of personality. It meant that while, yes, I am an extrovert, I thrive in ups and downs. I need rest after a big hype. I need quiet time after a big day. I need to sit with my family and just be there together without the need to constantly talk. I am comfortable in silence. I am comfortable in peace. And that rewired my whole nervous system. So clear boundaries around my priorities has been a massive game changer of how I show up in my business, because I am 110% in my business when I'm present there. That doesn't mean I'm always present there, and neither should you be. Let's go to number 9. I leveled up my skills. Some of you guys know me and know that my skills of a profiler have been my main focus for this year. But what you might not know is that I have been passionate about profiling people since I was about 18 years old. I absolutely loved understanding how people tick, how they function, how their patterns work. So now I'm 36 going on 37 as I'm recording this. Think about the amount of years I've dedicated to people watching, to analyzing, to watching character developments in books, in shows, in documentaries, in situations, the people I got to meet at events, the people I got to work with, to coach, to mentor throughout all of these years. All of them made me become an expert profiler. Funny enough, when I was about 18, I wanted to enroll in the Secret Service in Romania, and their particularities were kind of corrupt, so I gave up on that. But I didn't give up on the fact that I wanted to be a profiler. So I started learning more and more. And if you heard a previous episode of mine where I said I want to be an expert profiler, I started studying this year more and more about this, and I realized I actually know a lot more than I thought I did. So that is a skill that I've developed throughout so many years because of a passion. Because when you profile people, you get to understand what are the common patterns. When you get to understand the common patterns, you also get to understand how you get to help them. So, profiling is not just a skill for coaches. It's great in sales. It's great if you have a business. It's great if you have a family. You get to learn how to take care of your kids from a place of understanding patterns. It's fantastic. Another thing that I've became more aware of as I was leveling up my skills is that I'm a fantastic writer. And one thing that I was lacking in previous years was being a great speaker as well. If you guys know, these episodes that I'm recording now, they're just one go. There's little to no editing. It's just me sitting in front of my phone, recording myself and talking to you guys. I create lives without any problems, without blurbs or mental fog like I used to have, because my brain has been trained to do that. Why did I do that? Because I started becoming a great speaker, just like I was a great and am a great writer. I am a fantastic writer because I was trained like that. In high school and college, I trained to become a writer, a storyteller, a person that loves to create beautiful things in writing. I am a poet. I absolutely adore poetry. I create poems because they help my brain feel happy. And one of the reasons why I created, if you guys remember my self coaching workbook, Truth Left Unspoken, before it became this 2.0 version, 4 years ago, it was a poetry book that I collected from previous years in my journals that helped me heal my mind, heal my heart, heal my spirit, heal my emotions, because poetry was healing and is healing for me. So I've leveled up my skills because I knew that the combination of skills I have tied into my faith and my connection, my relationship that I'm building more and more with God is a definite anchor into my business. Now let's go into 10. And this is a very important one for me. I stopped finding excuses for myself. I found ways to rewire myself to show up as the one who already has her dreams a reality. I got to build me. I got to build this whole identity of Anna Maria Jinga. I got to build her from way back to Anna Chapa. I got to build her to such a degree that no matter what comes my way, I can handle it. Not just because of my skills and my ways of doing things, but because I belong to God. And this identity that I've created myself in, it's an amalgam of skills and qualities and emotions and feelings, and the way I get to magnify the feelings that I have for those around me to feel them as well. I get to amplify my energy in order to help someone feel better. And all of these I've created myself and continue to refine myself every day with every person I coach, with every person I meet, with every lesson I teach my son, with every conversation I have with my husband, with every little step I take. I mold myself into this new version that is independent, that is dependable, that is reliable, that is safe, that is inspiring and transformative, that speaks life back into people so that people feel healed by my presence, by my words, by my energy. I do not sit back anymore. I am the leader because I've noticed in so many of the previous years, 10 plus years, that I have been in social media and mentoring and coaching, that reminded me and showed me and proved to me that when I am not a leader, things don't work out. So that reminded me that God made me to be a leader for those who need me to hear Him. So think of this. These are my 10 things that completely improve the way I show up in my business and in my life. Think of your 10 things that might inspire you to show up better, to do better, to align to your true purpose. Allow for your 10 things to show up for you. And if you need inspiration, write down my 10 things. And after you write them down, think of where they would land in your life. See how you can show up better for yourself, for your family, for your community, because one, you deserve it. You deserve to live in your true potential because life is too important not to be lived to the maximum. I'm not telling you to jump off a plane. I'm telling you to step out of your comfort zone and have the transformative conversations with those who need you in their life, to show up for those who might not have anyone to show up for them, to put yourself first because your nervous system will slowly and surely rewire itself to feel safety and peace finally. Allow yourself to feel a connection and relationship with your creator because that's what you're made for. You are made to have a relationship. You are made to have a connection so transcendent that it will clear up all of your lack, fear, and doubt that you have in any cell of your body. So I wish that on you. I pray that on you, that you find the power and the courage to make that your priority. So, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in today. Please let me know in the comments below what you thought, what inspired you, what created movements in your soul, what stirred you up. Let me know in an email over at info@becomingabundant.net or in a DM on any of my socials. Handle is I am becoming abundant. Thank you so much for tuning in. I super love you. Have a fantastic week ahead. And until next time, stay salty and bright. Bye now.